Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of Minions of the Zoo. I'll be your keeper tonight, Skep Tock. And with me, I have Minions Prospero.
Fa la la, motherfuckers.
Johnny Hellcat.
I drank too much eggnog.
And the Harry Channel.
Good evening.
It is so delightful to have all of you with me this evening. Have you gotten all your Christmas decorating done?
Kiss
and all your
my
Christmas
ass.
shopping done? let's start this one off just right in the toilet. Prospero, how was your day?
A bit anxiety riddled.
Laden, yeah.
Yeah, not
Or more riddled.
Riddled. Not laden. Not laden.
Infused.
Yes.
Perfused.
Fortified.
Yeah. You don't want to know. You don't want to know, because things that wouldn't have caused me anxiety arose during the day to replace those things that had fallen off the list. So it was one of those God damn it kind of days. But last night was lovely because we had the tree lighting ceremony here at Shuffleboard Acres. And the guy that owns the development group and the building group here paid a nursery to flatbed a Norway spruce from Radford, Virginia, which is about 5 hours west of here, if not a tad bit more, all the way here to be planted behind our clubhouse. And it is a gorgeous tree. The root ball was about 5 feet by 5 feet.
5 feet in diameter root ball?
Yes. So
that's a goddamn tree.
Good sized young Norway spruce. And we are lucky enough in Shuffleboard Acres to have a gentleman who was electrician and engineer at Rockefeller Center. Yeah. And it was his job to light the tree at Rockefeller Center. So he lit this tree.
Was he the one who set it on fire because he misinterpreted it?
No.
Or no, that was the Black Lives Matter guy.
Yes. Okay, yeah. No. No, our guy.
That was the Fox Christmas tree. That's right.
Right. Yeah. No. Our guy has some serious cred in lighting a tree. 1,400 some light streamers spliced together. 2,800 lights.
I bet he didn't do all of those himself.
No, he had three
helpers.
3 volunteers.
Yeah.
Who helped him, and his wife and one of the volunteers, who's our drone guy, and a former firefighter. God love him.
So you have a boss who sits around and and then some comrades who come in, people who come in and actually do.
No, I saw pictures. They were all doing it, and it took him about a week to get it done. But he had told the owner of the development company, the guy who's envisioned this project over here, that if you acquire a tree, I will light it for you. And of course, the lights have to come down after the holiday because they can't be left on the tree because they'd kill the tree. So, I suggested that we get more volunteers because he only had 4 people helping him put all these lights on. And that.
How tall is that tree?
I'd say the tree is close to 12, 15 feet now. Might be a little taller. It's quite rotund. It's a nice plump Norway spruce. It will be pretty spectacular in its maturity. God willing. It is sited perfectly because it's behind the clubhouse toward the pond, the BMP pond. Mm-hmm. So for anybody who has lots ringing the pond, they have the tree to see plus the reflection of the tree in the pond. It was well sited. It took a good sized team to dig it. I mean, they had to get a flatbed to drive the damn thing from Radford over here. So it was not an inexpensive gift to the homeowners here by any stretch. And it's ours in perpetuity to decorate and do whatever with. And I'm sure future generations will learn how to decorate a tree properly from our engineer electrician.
So it's yours in perpetuity. So you're living in perpetuity now.
Goddamn right I am.
Actually, that's technically true. At least as far as we know.
I shall as long as I breathe.
Yeah.
And then I will live in spirit here, or I'll haunt it, depending on which house it is, because there are a couple people that they're on my haunt list.
You just walked across a landmine for me that I think is very interesting. This is the first generation that will leave behind a copious record of their social and life activities that is actually recorded in media.
Yes.
You know, what's being left. This is what every anthropologist, what every archaeologist dreams about having, is one of these for ancient Egypt. People 100,000 years from now are going to be able to see exactly how we lived, how we walked around, what we did. I think they'll be amazed. There'll be stuff that, like Donald Trump, they won't even understand. They won't even be able to relate to that. But
or Joe Biden
to see it. But they'll be able to see it. That's my point. They
yes.
may not understand the social moods of the moment. You know, those are so context-based. You kind of have to be there to figure out what's going on. But they will be able to see the way that we physically lived and the evidences of our, interaction. Plus, there's a lot of...
It'll depend on the archivists as to what kind of clean view they see of that, and whether they see, like you said, context matters, whether they'll see that we ourselves have struggled with context.
Are you saying that it matters only who counts the votes?
Yes, quite precisely. It historians
mm-hmm.
Need to understand
like you.
historiography, mm-hmm. because there are other historians who have dogs in the fight.
Wait. You're saying
yes
that a professional historian could write something down that endorses some political narrative or another?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
They've done it throughout time.
Not possible.
That's why context matters. Context matters in both directions. Current, future, past. It's a little bit like I don't know verbs in French. You need to know your present tense, but you also need to understand the past tense and potentially the future tense, which would then be subjunctive. But
why do you have to understand the future tense if it hasn't happened yet?
Because there are consequences to actions and consequences to decisions.
I thought the Biden administration got rid of the consequences.
Oh, they may have said they've gotten rid of the consequences.
Yeah, I think they got rid of it.
Yeah, I'm sure
it'll be fine.
But in all things, context matters, just like tense does. And of course, when we're trying to frame the future in seeking out consequence, we actually are, and this is really grammar nerdy, being in the subjunctive tense, because we're wishing.
It's hoping, a mood, subjunctive mood.
Wishing, hope, mood, but it's
not tense.
Yeah, okay, it's not a tense.
But it does change the spelling and the conjugation.
Yes.
Right
so when you're conjugating the verb, it acts like a tense.
Right.
But it is a mood. It is a state of wish, desire.
Right.
And we're wishing and hoping and planning and scheming, hoping that things work out.
Wishing and hoping.
Yeah, I know. We should write a song, shouldn't we?
that was a song back in the day. What?
And hoping and planning and singing.
Procrastinating.
Do into my heart. So
now I want to know what song it is. Chat, help us out. What song are we talking about?
All you've got to do is hold love him and squeeze or something.
All right. Yeah, hold him, love him.
Tell him that you're his, or
tell him that you got to.
You will be mine, I think it might be the
like
name of it. But
all right. Well, let me move through the
Sorry.
panelists, and then we can get the show started. But I miss talking with you, and it's so great to catch up. Johnny, how you doing, bud? Wake up, Johnny.
Johnny, are you muted?
He is muted.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Yes. He's dead, Jim. His brain is gone.
Oh, God damn it. It was Dusty Springfield.
He's an ex-Hellcat.
Yes. Well, Harry, how are you doing?
Oh, crappy.
Yeah, how bad was work today?
It's just bad in my own mind. I've been working on this project, and I'm either too clever or too stupid to figure out why it's not working. It will all be clear eventually when there's like an aha moment, when a Satori occurs, and enlightenment descends upon me, and then in hindsight it'll all be, oh, Harry was so silly. Yeah. He could have just done this one thing differently a month ago, and it would have all just worked.
He would have been a bodhisattva.
Yeah. I just don't want to end up literally only having my robe and a bowl and a spoon.
Yeah, well.
And a pair of sandals. I don't want those to be my only possessions, because that basically means you're living in a refrigerator box. And yeah.
So.
No, it's not that dire.
Not
it's
a follower
just Van by the river, maybe.
It's just frustrating.
Was it Epictetus was the first Stoic? Was he the? He was the first live in a van by the river, right?
Well, Diogenes kind of did that too, you know.
Well, he had the grumpy contrarian thing down too. It's one thing to live in a van down by the river. It's another thing to take your BO into town and just start screaming at people.
Zeno was the first Stoic.
Well, no, he was the most famous one. Did he found the school of Stoicism? He might have.
Let's make sure we're talking about the right Zeno.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Xenu.
Hello.
Yeah, Xenu. Yeah, he's the guy who was piloting the DC-3s into the volcano or with the H-bombs. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
DC-8s.
The first,
like DC-8s.
You're right. DC-8s, DC-3s are much cooler.
Yeah, absolutely right.
You know, if I had unlimited amounts of money, what I've told people, they say, "Oh, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do?" I would probably get like a seaplane, like an old PBY or a DC-3, and I would make it into my motorhome. That would be my flying house.
Those
that would be so awesome.
Huge inside.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't it be great to convert one of those? I mean, school bus, that's just weak. You know, buying race cars, that's just dumb. Race horses, you're stupid. There's all these things that people spend money on. I would much rather just have like a flying motorhome that I could touch down on calm water. Can you imagine how great life would be just flying around in a seaplane? Just do that for like any time. You know, you might work, but then when you're ready to just fuck off and do nothing, you just get in your seaplane and you just go somewhere.
You know, I was.
Are you gonna save your fingernail clippings?
Am I gonna save my urine in jars?
Yeah, I was.
We're going Howard Hughes. I'm not talking about the spruce goose. I'm just talking about like a little plane.
I know, man, but you know, you were like sounding a little excited about the seaplane.
I'm very excited about the seaplane. I mean, if I can't have a jetpack and I can't have a flying car, why can't I have a seaplane? I mean, at least it's a manageable goal.
Yes, it is. It's okay. It's okay, but you were just concerning me, and I just wanted to make sure the toenail.
Here's a guy who lives in a This guy lives in a 727.
That's an awesome choice. That would make an amazing house. I mean, it's got fuck tons of windows. And it's got pretty good space. I mean, the rooms are all going to be like 7.5 feet wide.
And it comes with 2 decks.
Yes.
Well, that's a 727, so it's just one deck.
727, it's one deck.
Well, there's one on each side. No, there's 2 decks. The wings are decks.
Oh,
the
yeah.
wings.
Oh,
Yeah,
decks,
Yeah.
I got
outdoor
you now.
decks.
Enjoy your cantilever decks.
Outdoor decks. Gotcha. No, man, you put some stairs down and put the grill there, and when it rains, you duck under it and eat. It's cool. You got a picnic table under it. It's
Yeah. When it's nice, you're on top of the wing, and when it's not so nice, you're underneath the wing.
yeah. I mean, they're
Although
kinds of-
cooking on a with a fire underneath the wing is only about one step up from the refrigerator box.
No. I was saying you didn't say the grill was under the wing. I said you ate under the wing. The grill's out from under the wing.
Yeah.
No blistering paint or anything. We're not Jay Lenoing the wing. By the way, Jay appeared in public, looked pretty good.
He did.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. He's healing
Compared to
well.
those first pictures.
Yeah, with a hyperbaric chamber would have helped and time. I mean, it's been 10 days since they let him out, maybe 2 weeks. They did hyperbaric chamber treatment on him.
Oh,
So,
I guarantee you they're doing hyperbaric on him.
oh yeah, I
It's a
mean,
classic case.
well, I'd hope so.
Well, how does that help? What's the mechanism?
It's
Infused perfusion, oxygen perfusion.
perfusion.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The skin just loves it. It's like, thank you.
It makes the healing process actually go faster because where there is oxygen, there is metabolism.
Yeah, and
Well-
I mean, he looked great. I mean, you can see some blisters on his neck still, remnants of it. But that, gas burns. It was any burns on the face like that, especially from gasoline and the way it happened, and on a 72-year-old are going to be classified as serious. It didn't have to melt one side of his face off
Yeah.
for somebody to call it serious, because at 72 years old, a very large transpirational organ in your body doesn't like being damaged like that.
The largest organ in your body.
The largest organ, and it's transpirational.
Well, it's actually respirational.
Perspirational and respirational.
It does have sweat glands.
But it's trans, man. It does both purse and resp, okay?
This is how it's pronounced bio.
Do you notice that resp and persp have the same letters in them?
Oh, and none of them rhyme with Trump.
It's bispirational.
Yeah, it's bispirational. It's respirational color.
But anyway, it's an awesome organ, and
Polyspirational.
thank you.
Inspirational.
And somewhere
Aspirational.
somewhere
We put
poly-
the ass in aspiration here.
that would be Clementine Ford.
Oh boy.
I watched that video. Damn you, Skep.
So sorry.
Johnny's
Oh,
like, I am muted for this.
I didn't make it to the end. I didn't make it to the end before I had to stop it, because when she said she called Rita Bahaney a cunt.
All right. Let me move through the panel.
Oh yeah.
Say
Well,
hi to
that
everybody.
guy.
Johnny, you here?
Yeah.
Hey, just going around. How was your day today?
I made a friend.
First time?
Well, not on purpose, but we're taking on a large group at work. Like, it was a contract that we formerly had that we now have regained, and half of the people like that are half the people that are on the open enrollment line that we're on don't live in the state, and so this gentleman's trying to get information on some services that he's looking to have done in the coming year. And so the lady who was talking to him apparently gave all of the wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
And the information that they were supposed to know, that we went through training to tell these people that this is what their benefits are going to be. She might as well just
So what was the upshot of all this?
Second guess. Well, he complained to the state. The state complained to my boss. My boss is like, you got to smooth this over since you are right here. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
So I end up calling the guy back. I get things smoothed over. I get the information that he needs.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh man, I wish the person I spoke to had this information. And, you know,
And that's when you say, I do too, sir.
I'm not allowed to say that, but
you know, a wink and a nod. Come on, man. You can be smooth enough with that, can't you, Johnny?
if I could have, I would have.
The hard thing for people in the service industry, and it really is a hard thing because you're in there day after day, is to remember who you work for. You know,
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to remember that the person who is lying to you, telling you obvious fibs, trying to put one over on you, or what, you know, or just being a general asshole on the other end of the phone is the person who is responsible for your company being able to do business. You know, that's the hardest thing about giving good customer service is when the product or service is so big that the customer service person can feel adversarial, you know, get adversarial feelings from the customer and react to it. That was always a hard thing for me, particularly in IT, because I knew so much more than these people. And this isn't like it is now, where there's a generalized awareness of how IT works. Back in 1990, if you knew computers well and could make them do these mysterious new things, you were a fucking god. You really were. It was really quite different from the way it is today, where, you know, people act like they've been here since the 1700s. Sorry, just soapboxing here. But anyway, so I appreciate what you're going through, and I felt that again and again, and it's hard to maintain that.
Well,
Customer, I'm on your side, even though you're lying to me and treating me like shit. I'm still going to come through for you, and I'm going to forgive absolutely everything you do. That's a hard thing to do.
Oh, well, no. Actually, she, the gal he was talking to earlier, isn't even from the state. So, and even on normal rules, like Texas rules is where she was from. Mm-hmm. Texas rules are different from Montana rules.
Yep.
And so, well, each state has different rules because mandates and blah.
Montana's rules are smaller.
That's a can of worms that you can't really get into. But
nobody got that.
I was able to I was able to get things smoothed over, and Iowa thought that was that, you know. Mm-hmm. Head on the head. I went back to my desk and did my work. And so they called. Yeah. My boss calls me over the next day, and she goes, "You remember that call that I gave you?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, apparently, that is that contract's #1 most vocal customer."
Complaining.
And I go. Really? And she goes, yeah. And he was so happy with what you did that now whenever he calls in, he wants to specifically talk with you.
Well, that's a good thing. That's good for you.
Like, oh, yippee.
No, that's a good thing. If you can get them to love you, you'll be employed forever. If you can get customers to like you and trust you.
Well, I just thought it was well trained. My boss thought it was impressive because, like, yeah, she's like, he is, I guess, from what the state contract lady, the liaison for that group, from what she said, he is like a huge complainer, like Karen to the max. And she's like, he handled him perfectly. Like he was a happy little lamb. And I'm
Karen Max. That just sounds scary. All right, well let me move it along here. Harry, how was your day today?
Crappy.
Oh, wait, I already did that. I already asked you that question, but I wanted to know why it was crappy.
Oh, just because I'm frustrated because something that should work isn't.
And do we have an ETA for the fix? As they always used to ask me.
Well, there was supposed to be a meeting about it today, and I just posted and I said, I fixed a bunch of things. No, it doesn't work yet. If we have a meeting, I'm just going to tell you about a bunch of things that I tried that didn't work, and then you're going to ask me questions to which I'm going to say I don't know. It would be in everybody's best interest not to have a meeting today. And I convinced them that I was right. And so at least I managed to not have a meeting, because it was just going to be really frustrating. It gets very frustrating talking about that kind of stuff.
We said hello to Camel, right? While I was gone.
No, not yet.
No, I'm
We'll
just getting to hate Camel.
You're making him wait. Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna finish with Harry, and then I'm going to hate Camel.
Okay, sorry.
No. So nothing interesting. I'm going to be very happy when I figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong or what's broken.
I bet you already know. I bet you already know. It's just a guess.
No,
yeah,
I'm actually not.
Or you don't know that you know. You don't. Know.
I have whittled away at the edges of this thing. There are not many places left for it to hide.
Yeah, you've probably walked over the solution, as we used to say.
No, I'm actually pretty careful. I did not walk over the solution. I would have known if I had. Yeah.
So really, okay,
yeah. The failure is very obvious.
Okay. Is it a hardware type of configuration problem, or is it a
software
this
is a very, very complicated piece of software.
Okay. So
which is actually many different things that have to all work together perfectly.
I was just going to ask you if this was a cobbled together with a bunch of different kinds of software facing each other.
I think the people who developed this would take issue with the word cobbled.
Why? Is it too generous?
It's extremely complicated, and I can't get into what it is, but it suffers from this problem. It was designed by a large group of people who put a lot of money into it from a lot of different sectors, and what they've done is they've created something that can do many, many, many different things to achieve the same result in different ways. And I have actually managed to find a combination of things which is almost completely undocumented and for which there seems to be no prior art. I was clever that way. I looked at the requirements and then said, well, I should do this, 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 and this. And then you run into a problem and you go, well, screw me. Nobody's ever done it quite this way, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fun. So it's a lot of packet sniffing and tracing of things, trying to figure out the stuff that's not in the documentation. A lot of source code inspections taking place as well. But someday, when I have it all figured out, we'll all have a good laugh about it.
Yay.
That day is not today.
Is the code well and accurately documented? Are there good flower boxes?
No. What's beautiful about it is it's been around for several years, and if you go searching for documentation, you don't know if the documentation you're looking at is for a version that hasn't been released yet or something that's really old.
Oh, good.
Oh.
And several things have been deprecated over the years. So
nice.
It makes it extra fun trying to find stuff out because there's just so many knobs that can change. Finding a working combination that works reliably is proving to be a lot more difficult than I anticipated.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting paid by the hour.
For you.
I'm getting paid by the hour. I don't care.
Yeah,
puzzle solving like this is lucrative.
At some point, they're probably going to want it to work, and
yeah, well,
a day of reckoning will happen. And
I'm trying to get it to work. I'm trying to get it to work before that happens.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me move on to Hey Camel. Hey Camel, how was your day, man?
It was good. Today was my Friday at work. So,
yay!
All right.
And it was also a fairly slow day. So I started working there the day before Thanksgiving and haven't had a day off yet. So 6 straight. They seem to like me. So
You like
Well,
it?
good.
it's a familiar job, so just slip right back into it.
Well, that's
Working as
good.
a cashier, only this time it's a truck stop, not just a straight convenience store. So
I would think the clientele would be more interesting to some extent, and
oh yeah.
probably not as quite as assholeish. Although,
I mean, it more diverse. Let's say that.
yes, well, any improvement in the public sector toward diversity is better than intensifying asshole.
Yes, diversity
just
is our
varying
friend.
flavors.
Yeah, and different shades and flavors of asshole.
But no, I mean the coworkers are all right. Management that I've worked with so far, pretty good. I mean, can't complain about them at all. So, just getting back in the swing of all the movement I am doing because my last gig, wasn't as intensive.
It's exercise and work
Yeah.
at the same time, so you don't have to exercise after work or pretend you do.
Well, no, I still need to because Camel's getting a little hefty, and there's a box of hot food sitting in front of me 8 hours a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's a truck stop near
all fried and delicious. And
yeah,
just...
there's a truck stop near here that the restaurant that operates out of it is a Popeyes, and I thought, oh, thank Christ I don't work there. I mean, it would be like spicy tendies in my mouth now. Just hand me that red beans and I know this is fast food crap, but Popeyes spicy
Popeyes is the best.
Amazing.
It's the best.
Popeyes is the shiznit. I have been reliably informed.
Sinatra,
go there,
I know
you'll
you're
never
not
go anywhere else.
listening. I know you're not listening, but my God, because you talked up spicy tendies so much, bless your heart, I went and got them. Now, fuck you, because you talked them up so much, I went and got them. And there's a Popeyes right around the corner from where I live now.
Do they deliver?
No, but they're freaking right around the corner. I mean,
just a hop, skip, and a jump, huh?
Yeah, one stoplight between me and them. I mean, it's less than a mile. And oh, sweet Jesus, they are good. And their red beans and rice are good.
Yeah, the red beans and rice is perfectly acceptable for fast food. I'm amazed how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, for fast food, red beans and rice, it's amazingly good. And
it's funny that you've discovered that.
They're black and ranch sauce with their spicy tendies. Oh, and I hate ranch dressing. I know. Send the letters to Skep. I'm not accepting mail. Ranch dressing is blah. If I eat wings, it's blue cheese. Because I love me blue cheese, but
I love wings with almost. I'll even eat them with ranch, but I also
I can't do that.
Now with ranch.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can do Hidden Valley if I have to, but I like spicy ranch or jalapeno ranch or something ranch. I can tolerate, but just plain ranch, I'm like, oh great, you put herbs in buttermilk. I mean, swell. It's just I can put herbs in mayonnaise and buttermilk too.
If we're talking chicken, I'm barbecue or bust.
Well, I can understand that, but I mean, a good piece of fried chicken at the right now. I'm not knocking Chick-fil-A. Their spicy chicken sandwich.
Yes.
Their spicy chicken sandwich deluxe with a pepper jack on it is.
It's actually pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's amazing. But if you're getting tendies,
that's what I get is with the pepper jack. It's funny.
It's kind of their signature way of doing it.
Yeah.
And some of that Chick-fil-A mayonnaise, which I swear to God is Duke's, because it's got some tang to it. But those Popeyes spicy tendies. And their biscuits are good too. You know, for fast food biscuits.
For fast food, no, they're excellent. Their food is so much better than KFC's. I'm amazed.
KFC's shit. KFC is trash.
It is crap.
It has been garbage ever since I was a child. I'd come to Richmond and visit with friends of my daddy, and this guy that he grew up with married a woman whose daddy owned Golden Skillet, which was a regional chicken place. And that's when I first discovered
Golden Skillet.
Yeah, that you didn't have to like pump oil under the skin of the fried chicken. Because my problem with KFC is, I mean, some of us like to eat the fried skin and then eat the chicken. And there would be like this grease smear.
Yeah.
It was like Exxon Valdez had cruised through that channel. And it was like, ew. How did you let that much oil penetrate? If you fry properly, the chicken is steamed inside the batter.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, right?
Oil doesn't get through it. It's all about temperature and proper batter.
So you actually use heat to cook.
Yeah.
You remember the old George Carlin, cooking with heat?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Alton Brown has a whole thing. Go look on Good Eats, explaining why fried food is nowhere near as bad for you if you learn how to do it properly.
Who is Alton Brown?
He's a chef, isn't he?
Well, yes. I know he's a popular, like YouTube.
Oh, I thought you were genuinely asking.
I know, but I just, where did he come from? What's his background?
He came actually from television production. But he is a chef. Went to France and everything.
Yeah.
Has a whole song about mise en place. And at no point does he rhyme it with kiss my ass, which is a shame. Because
it's kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, setting up it's a family friendly show.
Sure.
But setting up mise en place perfectly is every trainee's nightmare. Your carrots are not evenly cut, that kind of.
Right.
And they get swept into the trash, and you have to do them all over again. But he learned so much from television production that when he did a food show, it had those production values. Not to mention, he brought in the chemistry of cooking.
Yeah. And puppets.
And puppets. The puppets were awesome. And the lady that lives in the refrigerator, like the goddess of the refrigerator, he would do really cool stuff like opening the fridge and there's a camera in the back of the fridge. So the production value in Good Eats it was off the chart for a baby network like Food Network was at that time. I mean, they had Emerald, who was on constantly. They had a very bad Bobby Flay at the beginning. He got better. But when they got Good Eats, all of a sudden it was like food can be entertaining.
Well, it isn't a cooking show, for instance, in the sense that Julia Child or The Galloping Gourmet is a cooking show. Now, okay, The Galloping Gourmet is arguably not a cooking show. Now that I think about it,
a drinking show with cooking.
It was really more of a travel log with comedy and a side of cooking with booze.
Right.
Yeah.
But Alton Brown was the first show I can think of that really was more of a food science show.
Yeah.
And with a dab, just a dusting of food history thrown in for good measure. So it was it was infotainment because it was actually educating you about the history of food and why certain things make sense for cooking. And you had a lot of TV cooks, what you didn't have were food scientists.
Yeah, he beat Kenji.
Oh yeah,
To the altar there. And he would do really cool stuff like bring down styrofoam molecule Skep
Mhm.
to demonstrate like why oil and water don't mix,
Or how gluten works.
or how gluten works.
Oh,
Or
neat.
it is. I mean, you can find most of these online or around the early runs of Good Eats, but I mean, in his live show that I saw, he cooked popcorn basically over a stage light while playing Devo-esque music.
Like Whip It.
Yeah, kind of puppet good. I mean,
Mhm.
and they were in like spacesuits but it was hilarious to see like these styrofoam balls pop down with jacks stuck in them, to indicate like anything that like proteins that would attract
Mhm.
or that kind of thing. And he actually had food anthropologists on.
Food anthropologist.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a microfield.
Yeah.
What's the etymology of this food?
Yeah. The etiology.
Etymology.
But
Etymology.
if you think about it, a food anthropologist is the kind of person who ends up taking the scrapings out of one of those urns in Egypt and going, "Holy shit, this was beer."
Or opening some of the amphoras of wine and
Yes.
smelling it and saying, "Hey, that's wine."
Then now we're going to have everybody's favorite archaeological game, garum or wine.
Yeah. Does it stink like fish or does it
We're
smell
going to
like
open this,
vinegar?
and we're not exactly sure what we're going to run into.
Or whether we're going to pass out after we give it a sniff.
Yeah.
I love that. The chaotic evil, neutral evil, and lawful evil.
And the audience votes on who's going to die first.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good description of Alton because he's done some really amazing stuff. I'm Just Here for the Food is an interesting book. It really is.
I'm Just Here for the Food.
Yeah.
I may have to check this guy out because it sounds like
Oh, you'd love him.
somebody
You
I
would.
might enjoy.
Cree is not a cook, but he loved watching Good Eats. Alton Brown sources a school locker and smokes bacon in it.
He does like using power tools to Rube Goldberg cooking things. That is a thing that happens.
I sort of like that idea, though.
Yeah, I think that Skep might be sold on Feasting on Asphalt, which was sort of a travel show where he got on a motorcycle with a bunch of guys, and they just went like the length of the United States or traveling up the Mississippi, from the Gulf to the source, and stopping along the way and eating.
But
it's a great thing because it's a motorcycle travel show and a food show at the same time, and he's very entertaining.
Yeah, but Skep would also like that weird Rube Goldberg stuff that he.
Oh, he'd like all of it.
And
I think it's interesting. That show was created by Alton Brown.
Yep.
Written by Alton Brown. It was directed by Alton Brown. It was presented by Alton Brown. Starred Alton Brown, and the theme music composer, you guessed it, Alton Brown.
Da 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 da.
It's like the song Bad Company on the album Bad Company by the band Bad Company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Eponymous.
I have a salt cellar that somebody bought me as a gift at one of his shows in Charleston, South Carolina. And on the top of it is an atom, and it says, "Eat your science."
Mm.
Now, how cool is that? Okay.
I like that.
That's just, you'd like the explaining how not to burn your house down frying a turkey by basically rigging, literal rigging to lower a turkey safely into screaming hot oil using a ladder and a pole and like a carabiner and
The
a
one thing
pulley. You
The
know?
one thing I don't like about those videos is that the turkey oil is like filled to the brim. Like, of course that's going to do that.
Right. Yeah, the people who are like
But then again,
setting
like
fires, but yeah.
that's me having faith that people aren't fucking stupid.
But he,
Yeah.
you know, Alton is like, if you want both sides of your porterhouse to be the same temperature, exactly, here's how to do it. You know, rigging grills. So the Rube Goldberg stuff is fascinating, but the asphalt thing was really cool too. He just is an engaging man.
Yeah,
Really
it
good
sounds
presenter. Really good presenter. I mean, Emeril Lagasse did yeoman's work getting the Food Network. Well, I mean, he did master work getting the Food Network underway. He was shooting for like 12 straight hours. He'd fly to New York and shoot. The whole thing about his season.
He's from Louisiana, isn't he?
No. He's from Massachusetts.
Emerald Lagasse is not.
Yeah, no. This is what happened in Emerald's.
Who am I thinking of?
Oh no, he took over the commander's palace when Prudhomme retired.
Oh, Paul Prudhomme. That's who I was thinking of.
At age 26, Emerald was handed the keys to the kingdom at the commander's palace.
Nice.
His dad's
26 years old.
26 years old. He started in food work at about age 13 in a bakery in New Bedford, Massachusetts. His mom's Portuguese, his dad's French Canadian. And he started working in a Portuguese bakery in New Bedford or Fall River. I think it's New Bedford. And then went to, I think, the CIA. I'm not positive. Culinary Institute. I'm not positive where he did his cooking work, but he headed to Cajun country. He wanted to work in New Orleans, and he was working at the commander's palace, and the Brennans chose him. He'd been studying at the Master's Feet. And then he went off and has done his own thing. He's got a couple restaurants in New Orleans and, you know, the chain of Emeralds that he's got going on. But that whole BAM business was to keep the camera crew awake because they'd be filming for like 10 hours.
Yep.
And then when the show got more popular, he got the band in to help keep the environment going. But one of the Food Network executives pointed out that if you watch the shows in sequence, you can tell because his 5 o'clock shadow increases across the course of like a week's worth of shows.
That's what electric razors are for, honestly.
Yeah, honest to God, I think he was just moving from show to show to show to show as fast as they could because they, you know, this was a nascent network that they were trying to get off the ground, and they scored this guy who, you know, is still young and outside of New Orleans, maybe not that well known. Yeah. But I'll give him this. He was entertaining. His restaurant, a lot of his recipes were complicated as shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had Julia Child on finally, which was just like, oh, and he showed her the proper respect, which Martha Stewart couldn't be bothered to do.
Martha Stewart lost me for good with her attitude toward Julia Child
when they made that croquembouche.
Yep.
Yes. Oh
yep.
God,
you and I talked about this before.
Furious, absolutely furious. I mean, Julia was old. She had a little palsy in her hands, and it was just, oh, I wanted Jacques Pepin to show up in the room and just bitch slap Martha into the next county.
I wanted her to be sentenced to prison. Oh wait, that happened.
Yeah, I know, but that was
that was bullshit.
That was utter bullshit. It
That was rough justice.
Too powerful a woman. Look, she built an enterprise. God love her, you know, and a hard bitch, but she didn't treat Julia right.
No, she didn't.
And you don't do that. I mean, if I had ever been in Julia Child's presence, it would have been just to say, "Oh my God, ma'am, thank you." You know,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I still like the idea of Martha doing shabby chic Bruno.
Well, she was teaching the gals in the prison some useful skills, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which there worse things that she could have been doing.
Yeah.
Name that molecule. I like that. I just caught up with the notes, y'all. So that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that is really cool. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here?
Molecule pops.
Yeah. Looks like I'm looking at some methane.
That is what that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you can play Name That Cookie Blood Cell.
Isn't that awesome?
Well, the leukocyte and the red blood cells are easy to identify. The eosinophil, there's a basophil, there's what? It's a mesophil.
Who decorated these?
Radioplastin.
I don't
These are
know.
nice. I like these.
Well, I think I know. I'm not entirely sure, though. I don't know. I just thought science cookies might be a good...
Yes. They're
Science!
awesome. I mean, and you ought to like have a picture of, and when you have mononucleosis, it looks like this.
Yeah, have some green things. Yeah, exactly like this. Very good.
Nothing I can't make geekier.
You know, that looks like integrated circuits, but as somebody who has darkened the door of a laboratory or two, those also look like petri dishes with lines of bacteria. You take a bacteria needle and you run it in a straight line. That's where the bacteria grow, and that's just what it looks like. And the little dots, that's typical of bacteria growing. That's funny. That's interesting.
Petri cookies.
Oh, yeah, petri.
Would you like some agar cookies, darling?
Did you see the periodic?
It's delicious.
Did you see the periodic table of cupcakes earlier?
No, I missed it.
Oh, here, let me get that back for you here.
We need to see the periodic table.
Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen.
No, it's okay.
Terrible. Oh my God, that's glorious. I don't want to make them and decorate them, but
that's all you have to do is make a bunch of cupcakes.
But it's still cool.
Pretty easy. I like the way that they broke out the actinides into lanthanides. Is that awesome? In the bottom part, in the greens, the lanthanides are in the dark greens. The actinides start with thorium and the light green. That's excellent. That's awesome.
This is the kind of thing that should be done for Tom Lair's birthday.
Yes.
And make him sing it.
You have Drosophila cookies.
Oh, that's great.
Wait, is that Drosophila melanogaster?
It is.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Well, look at that. Bugs all actually eat.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, melanogaster is actually the species. That is correct. Those are definitely melanogaster.
But those are edible insects. See?
Yep.
As long as they're not...
Those are the kind of insects that I will eat.
Yes. Johnny and I and you shall eat them.
Yes. Do you know what those are, Skep?
Those are, that looks like it might be blue. Remember, I'm blue-green colorblind, so I'm seeing some gray lozenges in front of me. What am I looking at?
It's gel electrophoresis.
I was going to say, that looks like in my biology class, we did a DNA marking.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, Johnny. It looked like DNA markers.
Yeah, they do look. They look like spectrum drops. Also.
I'm
Yes.
very easily distracted.
So am I. I'll go
Thank
right down
you.
the rabbit hole with you, and Prospero will lead us
Squirrel!
all down the. Yeah. she's-
So here's your petri dish that you were asking for.
Oh, awesome.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is just what they look like.
That is so cool.
Only my lines were never that even. Mine's look like a child scribbling.
If you got
That's
it to
what
culture,
it looks like.
if you got it to culture, you got it to culture. You know, wasn't that kind of the point of the exercise?
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, I'm sorry you don't like my Salvador Dali version of a culture, but I got it to work.
I remember when we did this in biology class, they actually let us wander the school to find something to swab to bring back for a culture. And one of the kids, like, he didn't even leave the class. And she's like, aren't you going to swab anything? He's like, I already did. It's right here. They handed it over. And she's like, well, what'd you swab? And he goes, that remote.
Oh,
And she's like, I'll award extra credit for those who have the biggest culture. Yeah, needless to say, that thing got Lysoled to death after.
good for him.
Yeah, everybody needs a thing like a microwave oven, but it's like a gamma ray oven that you can just put fruits and vegetables in, so you can just cobalt bomb your own food. Did you see this one when we were talking about chicken? Because I was putting up chicken related things. Did you see this one?
No, I'm not your little dog, Fifi.
Oh,
I'm the chicken you thought you fixed for dinner. Would you like to know where your little Fifi is?
that is so.
And they're eating.
God, that is. Oh my God, that is so Larson.
Oh, I was muted.
Scene from Dinner on Elm Street. I did see this one earlier. Just so amazing. I still love
Thank you, Camel. Somebody needs to pay attention.
Well, it made me think of the Scott Tenorman episode of South Park.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that the South Park guys, Matt and Trey, probably were aware of this, or at least some of the writers were when they put that Scott Tenorman episode together.
I have to believe so.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that people who can be as funny as Matt and Trey would not know their Larson. That they probably have the Bible on the desk, It's like, flip through here and see if there's something we can't translate to the little shits.
There actually is a Gary Larson compendium. It's the complete history of the Far Side.
Huh?
And
it's thicker than the Bible.
It is. It's a thick
Weighs
tome.
a goddamn ton.
Proud that I have it. And,
me too.
More pictures in the Bible too, which is clearly an advantage.
That's what I liked about my freshman physical science teacher. He had like the Far Side calendars, like daily calendars. So it was always fun, going into his class to see what which one they had for that particular day.
Yeah, it was one of the joys of having a newspaper subscription was Far Side, Bloom County, and Calvin and Hobbes.
Yep, Calvin and Hobbes. That was what I would read. Calvin and Hobbes and Far Side just were, and I would also read Dan Ferraro did this one panel comic called Bizarro that I liked.
Yes, I like Bizarro.
Dan Ferraro is a character.
Cree was a huge fan of Cul-de-sac.
Oh yeah, Cul-de-sac.
Richard Thomas's Cul-de-sac, and Jeff McNally was from this area.
Was he really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he lived just west of where I live.
Okay.
by a little bit. And matter of fact, there was a restaurant downtown that he had done the menu for. I mean, it was so clearly his script, handwritten, and there were all kinds of his political cartoons on the wall before he was doing Shoe.
Right.
He was actually the political cartoonist for either the Times Dispatch or the News Leader before they merged here in Richmond. Now, mainly what they have is Brookins or Ramirez. Sometimes they'll let some other guys in. I mean, they copy paste every Washington Post article. We gave up our subscription because of the everything was AP or WAPO reprint. But we actually, our editorial page in 2016 endorsed Gary Johnson.
Really?
Well, Bart, are you familiar with A. Barton Hinkle? He's a libertarian circles.
Most libertarians, honestly, don't appeal to me at all because most of them are fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's probably a conservatarian. Might, know, like Charles C.W. Cook identifies as.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because the thing I can tolerate about Charles Cook is both. Not only
he can write.
Well, he can write, and thank you, British public education.
Amen,
but and also British Reserve when it comes to the hyperbole that infests politics. But he can put up a principled argument against someone like Trump. Or an argument for someone like Trump. He didn't go Jonah Goldberg. Jonah really
you never
go full Jonah. And I tell you, of all the damned writers on the staff at National Review who have disappointed me, and many of them have. God damn it. Ever since Buckley died.
Yeah, do we want to get the list ready?
No, but Jonah Goldberg, oh my God, his TDS is incurable.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, he's
and it's obnoxious. You know what he started sounding like? The fucking ADL.
Oh yeah.
He started spazzing out about people in MAGA hats and anybody who spoke in Trump's defense was some kind of cultist.
You got to realize he's young. He's being influenced by these people. He thinks he's one of the gods of the world because he's a powerful influencer and all that.
And he's an intelligent man. I mean, I've read his books. He's a very bright man and he's an excellent writer. But and he's good with his history.
He can't see past the TDS, though, don't you think?
No, and he's not that fucking young. I mean, he's old enough to know better than this. And it's kind of disgraceful. It's like, could you go back and read a little PJ O'Rourke and calm down, Jonah?
I think this image pretty much sums up the National Review's position.
Yes, it does.
And this is recent. This is after he announced he was going to run again.
Yeah. But, somebody like Charles C.W. Cook he's much more pragmatic. Once again, I think that's the British background. He's not burned the whole house down. But, honest to God, like Rich Lowry turned into
not absolutely sure I'm ready to concede the notion of pragmatism exclusively to British, but with that proviso.
No. I'm not going to
spot you that much.
No, I'm not going to. The state of Vermont.
Oh, it's in terrible shape.
But if you want to define pragmatism, over most of its history. Vermont, New Hampshire have been highly pragmatic states. They
almost brutally so.
Yes. Well, they've had
particularly in Vermont's case.
Yeah, they had to be.
Yeah.
There isn't much population there, but
no, it's a tough world out there. Vermont did what it had to do to survive.
But
I love the fact that I actually worked for Ethan Allen.
Yeah.
The Ethan Allen.
Yeah.
His I think it's
four or five times.
Yeah, four or five great grand nephew is what and his name was Ethan Allen, and his name was Ethan Allen III. His line of Ethans started 3 generations ago. He just says, "Oh, the family just recycles the name, periodically."
And, of course they would.
And
why?
He told me that they owned a lot of northern Vermont still. The Allens do. The Allens and the extended Allen family.
Good for them.
Yeah.
That's something that Bernie hasn't taken away from them.
Not for lack of trying.
Well, it's like
how crazy.
I was mayor of Burlington. That's not something I'd want to put on a resume, okay, buddy?
But think about when we grew up. We are contemplating handing an amazing amount of power, being president of the United States, over to a socialist. Do you know how that sounds to me? I'm sure it sounds the same to you. They're communists. They are fucking communists.
It sounds like the Rosenberg. It sounds like the Rosenbergs lived and won.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Just to put as nasty a spin on it as possible, it actually sounds like the Berlin Wall is still up.
Yes.
It's inconceivable to me. It was always a chuckle up the sleeve that we had a communist party in this country.
Oh, the American Communist Party. Remember Gus Hall?
Yeah, it was it was kind of like, what's your favorite flavor of window? Windows? What are they? We all lick the same window, comrade.
Yeah.
It was almost like a Max Schulman parody. Something Gene Shepard would write.
The party issues the windows to be licked. All
Yes.
the windows are the same. All the licking will be the same. People who lick windows differently will be shot. That's what communism does. Yay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for playing.
Issued from Stalin's Dasha. I don't get it. It doesn't make much sense, because we've watched country after country fail at this, and we're watching them. Sweden has a center-right government now.
Yeah,
and they're
Sweden is rapidly turning into a fascist state.
That's what happens when you allow unfettered immigration by a culture that refuses to assimilate to the native culture.
Okay.
Well, what would you expect to happen in Sweden after what they've allowed to happen in Sweden for the last 25 years?
I agree. I think they've nuked their country. I think they have fucked themselves.
Well, Chile had the same problem, right? Because you had all the socialists who wore the Hugo Boss uniform, plus a bunch of other dudes, flee to South America and wander about loose. And you had quite through the Catholic Church, you had quite that social justice, weird Marxist, pseudo-religious thing that they have going on. I don't know how to describe it. I can't remember the exact term for it, but it has infested South America for about 50 years.
Wait, what are we talking about? I've lost the thread of this.
Well, the religious, political, oh God, what is the term for it? it's almost like restorative justice through the church. Damn it, the Black Episcopal Church did it in this country.
What is this? Some kind of
It's-
reparations type thing, or
Well, it's kind of the gospel of politics.
okay?
I can't. Let me try to look up the term. I'm sorry.
What is the term?
I
That's-
I am trying to remember the term.
okay, that's what we don't know. Okay.
Yeah, because you would recognize it because it's a highly charismatic political movement
In South America.
in South America. It was done in some of the black churches in the United States. It's kind of almost replaced the gospel. It's a Marxist gospel. I'm looking it up.
Charismatic Christianity resembles socialism or communism, really, but I don't know.
Yeah, there is a specific term, and you would recognize it.
Yeah. I know some of the lesser Protestant groups are doing very well in South America, and it's a lot of those people are being introduced to a new, improved Christianity.
Yeah, this was
Stop.
mainly through the Catholic Church.
Is this a religious movement or a political one, or
both.
a social?
It's both
Okay, who is causing the movement to happen?
Marxists and Leninists.
Okay, so this is a specific kind of socialism in.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I am so angry that I cannot think of the term. Any other damned day, I'd be able to think of it.
I mean, I've read about the democratic socialists and the social democrats and all stuff like that, but that really is more descriptive of party.
Yeah, no, this is also about salvation. It's kind of a twisted.
Okay, so it's a salvation message mixed with
Marxism.
Marxism. Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
It's like collective salvation, but it's.
Well, let's see. What is the movie?
While you guys are thinking about that,
Yes.
did you guys see that the U.S. made it to the knockout rounds of the World Cup?
Yeah, by beating Iran.
Yeah,
What was the score of the Iran game?
1-0.
We didn't beat them by much.
The reason I saw that they won, apparently some U.S. fans were chanting, "It's called soccer."
Get beheaded over there. Where was the game
I thought
played?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, this was a gutter, right?
Yeah, Qatar. Yeah.
Yeah, I call it gutter, but yeah, Qatar.
Term for it.
Living in the gutter. Yep.
The Channel 8 News here in Tulsa, they posted a story about it apparently.
Excuse me.
Observations on the intersection between Christianity and socialism usually take the form of pointing to the Gospels and say that there's socialism, the gospel, or that expelling the money lenders from the temple, or that old aphorism about rich being denied entry into heaven. yeah, or it being easier to give a camel through the eye of a needle than to get a rich person to
Rich
heaven.
man,
There really is a deep vein of communistic thought running through Christian movement. Always has been. Always have been. For the common fund of the apostles, remember the injunction to new members to give up their property, that common meals they had together. I mean, there's a lot of socialist symbols there, don't you think?
Well,
Or
okay.
no?
No.
Okay.
No, I've always thought that was backfilling. I thought it was always backfilling.
You think that's a retcon, huh?
Yep, on the back of S seats. Jesus was an ascetic rabbi, okay? He goes off for his time in the desert. He does that whole...
Yeah, he does the whole shaman thing.
And it's...
I'm with you.
It's the particular ascetic movements of the time. At no point are any of his prescriptions... I mean, I guess it's all in how you view the New Testament. Do you take more weight from the words in red?
Well,
or do you take more weight from the Paulines? Do you take more weight from the behaviors of the apostles? Because they had their own agendas too. Christ is around for a very small part of the New Testament.
That's why I said that. That's why I said the Gospels. I was being specific for a reason. James and Peter and Paul were individuals, and their stories are about guys who were trying to solve a problem. That problem was getting the word out there that Jesus was God, and that the Gospels are a different story. That's where Jesus is. That's where you hear from Jesus, and Jesus tells you, this is the way that you are supposed to live. These are the rules that you should follow. All through that, again and again, I find the suggestions of really a communist existence,
liberation theology.
Hang on, just a sec.
Sorry.
Now I'm trying to formulate the thought that I'm asking for quiet so my brain will try and work. That I see these communist symbols in the Gospels. It's different from the rest of the New Testament, which is the work of these, capable, courageous, deeply faithful men who went all over the place and risked their life to spread this word. Really, that's very different from Jesus walking around making trouble in Jerusalem and getting himself killed for his trouble. I think what Jesus is the words that come from his mouth, the as you say, the red letters, to me are all about living together and selflessness. And he really does. When people ask him, what should I do? He says, sell everything you have and spread the word. That's pretty communist. Sell all your personal possession. We're not gonna, and the other interesting thing is the monastic, or semi-monastic movements of that time. That the Essenes, for example, great example. The Essenes lived a purely communistic style, and when they found the copper scroll in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the only one that they did in copper, because it was the most important one, this is kind of interesting, was a list of all the money that they owed. It was actually a list of invoices, and part of it was a list of inventory. But it's fascinating to look back into that and see what you can conclude. Anyway, that just feels like group living, communal property, not owning anything.
Kibbutz life.
yeah, really, truly, and a lot of Israeli communism comes from early life on the kibbutz.
Yeah.
Because that is a very, very socialist. No, it's not a socialist. That's communism. That's pure communism.
Well,
that's like the dictatorship of the proletariat. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know.
Our kibbutz is communist now. Not really.
Well, no. I'm talking about 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. The kind of Bernie Sanders period of
yeah,
woo communism. There's communalism and there's communism.
Yeah. Communalism is where you go out and earn all your stuff and then bring it back, and you take the stuff that you've earned out in the open market, in the
yes,
capitalist market, and then you pool that and live from that. That's communalism.
Yeah,
I understand it.
I mean, I guess I've always thought of Jesus as more of a communalist rather than a communist. The fit he throws at the temple is not because business is going on there. It's because it's going on there. It's not the business that he's pissed off at.
Well, he does say get rid of your property.
Yeah, he does. Me. He does.
Sell all you have and follow me.
Cast away, and follow me. Is that in this life or the next? I mean, there's a lot.
Well, usually people jump in.
There's a lot of woo.
I have had this conversation more than once, and people hate to hear this, and I have said this to some deeply Christian, deeply patriotic people, and it pisses them off into orbit.
Well, see, it pisses me off.
You're not calling Christ a communist.
Well, I don't.
What's wrong with you, boy? He's a patriot. He's an American like you.
Well, I don't like. Well, my problem is I don't like applying modern day economic fiat currency theory or political theory to theology, because there is.
Why? What's wrong with it?
I don't mind it as a discussion.
Okay.
I mind it as a scold.
Oh, am I scolding?
No,
sorry. I'm scolding because I have a problem with that.
No, you are not scolding.
Okay.
Leftists scold constantly.
Okay.
About a Bible they haven't read. Because at no point does Jesus say you get to go and take somebody else's money and give it to the poor. You're supposed to willingly give up your own. It's willing sacrifice, not through the state. And when they apply it to the state apparatus in the scold, confiscatory taxation, blah, 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 render under Caesar that which is Caesar's, render under God that which is God's. That is a clear separation between state and theology. It's also a survival mechanism. If you want to clean up the history of it, he was trying not to get more Jews killed. By
answering a question. He was answering a question about who was more important, Caesar or God.
Yeah.
And Jesus gave to what sounded to me like a very political answer, and I was there when he said it. Mm-hmm. He said, render under Caesar the things of Caesar, render under God the things that are God's. I think that what he was doing was giving a sop to Caesar. I don't think he really felt that way at all.
Well, see, I totally do think what he meant was like your filthy lucre is not as important as your almighty soul. And so when Caesar wants part of your filthy lucre, you give it to him because you're keeping your soul for God. I mean, like if you fight Caesar on the lucre thing, he might.
So you're taking that as a direct instruction to the people, whereas I take it as a political statement that he threw out to keep the authorities off his back. Think about when he said it.
Potentially.
When did he say it? It's pretty early in his ministry, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's like what, Mark IV or something, Mark III. And so he's got 13, 14 more chapters to go, before the end of his life.
Yeah,
And
which is about what, 20 weeks.
Well,
it's like a trimester.
Bible study, it's about 6 months.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's not long. By the time the Gospeliers start doing their thing,
yep,
we're approaching the end days pretty quickly.
The end times are upon us.
Yeah, at least they were for Yeshua.
Brenda came home tonight. She said, "I'm ready for the end times." That's funny.
Yeah, they're days. There are days. Yeah. Especially around Christmas. Oh, if you want to cheer yourself up, Eric Idle did a song called "Fuck Christmas." You can find it. I think.
Is this the ho ho fucking ho? That one, or is this "Fuck Christmas" by Eric Idle?
Yeah, it's really rather splendid. Anybody who's worked in retail, everybody's hand on the panel just shot up in the air, even though we can't be seen, has thought this at some point during the festive season of impatience and rudeness. Because we're celebrating Jesus's birth by being ugly to one another in public. Or, if you're of the Jewish persuasion, we're celebrating that dreidel drying out by being ugly as shit to people in public. I mean, it's just stunning how rude people can be during the holiday season.
You're here.
Celebrating
I blame
Jesus' message for all of us.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of my favorite shows when I first started hosting was the Christmas one, where we did where we were assigning points to figure out what the best winter holiday was. That was actually a lot of fun.
I think
Hanukkah's pretty cool because it's 8 days.
Well, we did Hanukkah, Christmas, Festivus, and Kwanzaa.
I remember it. I mean, I'm still a fan of Christmas because you kind of got the double thing. Like, if you are religious, you've got the part, but you also have the Santa thing going on. But Hanukkah, I mean, I know a lot of people kvetch because, but the gifts, over 8 days, it's socks from Aunt Mildred, and then, well, look, we all, even us darling little Christian children on Christmas morning, got a nightgown, okay?
Everyone's got an Aunt Mildred.
Yes, everybody has an Aunt Mildred.
A ton of socks growing up.
Ton of socks, pajamas, nightgown, robe. Go put them on, honey. Fortunately, I did not have an aunt that made a bunny suit.
I'd rock a bunny suit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bunny suit would kill.
Yeah. Oh, God. Harry. Harry.
What? You don't think I'm ready for Christmas? This is just a sample.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, sir, may I have some? No.
God, what a beautiful blend of Dickens in a strange way.
That's well said. God, I didn't.
I mean, it's like Oliver Twist gets turned into the Christmas Carol. Like,
yes,
boom.
As soon as you said that, I knew where you were going.
With Grumpy
absolutely
Cat,
right.
Mm-hmm.
So right.
Who played that? Is that Roddy McDowall?
Yes, that is Roddy McDowall.
Thank you. I thought it was.
That was a young Roddy McDowall.
Yeah. Beautiful bone structure.
Did you guys see Clarence Gilliard died?
Yeah, the saxophone player?
The actor.
The actor.
Clarence Gilliard?
I believe his last name's Gilliard. He was in Die
Who's
Hard, and he was on Matlock.
Oh yes. Yeah,
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Yeah.
He passed away. He was 66.
Yeah, that stinks.
It's not very old.
No, and like it makes me feel old, and I'm only 33 because I was like, Jimmy Trevette died. What?
Yeah. My former congressman died. Don McEachin.
Don't know. That didn't. I've lost track.
Virginia. Fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth Virginia 4. It got redistricted, but he was 61 years old.
Oh goodness.
He'd been.
Did your redistricting go to trial? I'm just curious.
No, it was basically rolling all of Richmond into itself. There'd been
the right people got paid, so there was.
Well, honey, you know the funny business has gone in this state.
Oh my God!
In North Carolina, we're not as bad as North Carolina.
I was just going to say North Carolina is like no.
North Carolina has some districts that I think include part of Virginia. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that people who voted in Abingdon, you know, out there north of Bristol, weren't like rolled up into one of the far northwestern counties of North Carolina. It's just, or maybe eastern Kentucky,
Blowing Rock, you know, or
yeah. I mean, anywhere like Grundy, you know, that kind of area. But Virginia drags on and on and on to the west.
Oh my God, it goes so far.
And I mean, Blacksburg and where Virginia Tech is a good bit west. Yeah. And there's a major interstate, 81, that runs down through Roanoke, and then you have to kind of turn west off that to get to Blacksburg and Radford. But then you got to keep on going and going. And going, and then eventually you get into Kentucky, but you pass over a whole buttload of Tennessee before you do that.
Yep.
And the guy who developed this neighborhood out here, he's from Abingdon. Well, Bristol was the closest town to them. Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia. Seriously. Basically, there is a state street that runs down the middle of Bristol that divides the Virginia half from
I have
the
driven
Tennessee
down that
half.
street.
So when people say Bristol around here, they're, you know, up now, of course, in Jenna's honor, because she can't be with us tonight, I'm not speaking of Bristol, Rhode Island, the state where she lives. But then
Bristol's just a big spot on Providence.
Yeah, everything's a big spot on Providence now.
Well, Newport would beg to.
Well, Newport, yes. Okay, Newport and Pawtucket, I guess, is still kind of removed.
Pawtucket's between them. It's down there by.
It's at the Massachusetts. It's at the Massachusetts border, north of Providence. Warren.
Oh, it is. What am I? Warren. That's what I was thinking of.
Warren.
That's what I was trying to remember was Warren. I'm doing this from.
Yeah, well, you've got the Narragansett Bay.
Warwick
and Warren but they keep the Narragansett Bay separates Newport from Providence, Warren, Warwick, everything. Well, you know, it's a postage stamp of a state. But anyway,
yeah.
I made a thing while you guys were talking about commies.
Cool. Show it.
I have it displayed right now.
Yeah, but we can't see it. Skep.
Let me see. Hang on. There we go.
Thank you.
Nick Windows down here, comrade.
I like that.
I like that too.
That is a good callback to the state makes the windows, and you shall lick the windows. And the scary. You don't see this kind of street drains around here very often.
Mm-mm.
I miss them. They were in New England everywhere, you know.
I had to scroll down some to get that perfect picture.
Well done.
Well done. I don't miss the clowns.
No, I don't like clowns.
Yeah. Well, the ones at the sewer are the worst.
Yeah.
Attitude.
I think Tim Curry did a wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Tim Curry does a wonderful job with everything.
every
he does.
time he acts.
Yeah.
Yes.
The guy's kind of got Carl Sagan eyes. It needs to be Stephen King. He's a window licking commie. Or Rob Reiner.
Yeah. I'm kind of seeing George Harrison, but I hear you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They've got it's that hooded eyes.
Yeah, those hooded eyes, big beetly brows. They will be big and beetly when he's old.
Oh, you mean the guy in the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Che.
Oh,
Che Guevara. Che Guevara.
Yeah, I see the cap now. I see the side of the cap without the beard.
The widow's peak coming down. Also, that's another.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's part of the rain gutter that I photoshopped in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't cry for me, Argentina. What a piece of shit that guy was. Wow.
Boy, who is his PR person?
It hasn't improved that much. I mean, there's still somebody's benefiting from the t-shirts, but I swear to God, most people are buying them to be walking memes or something.
Yeah.
I mean, now I wouldn't even steal that t-shirt to go yippee on you, but that was Abby Hoffman, wasn't it?
Was it still this book?
Steal this book?
Yeah, Abby Hoffman.
Thank you.
Because System of a Down used that as an inspiration for one of their albums, Steal This Album.
Yeah, and when I know Vincent D'Onofrio was involved in making a movie.
Steal This Movie. Yep.
Steal This Movie. Yeah.
Yep. He did a pretty decent job.
Playing Hoffman?
I actually remember that movie, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay. I've never seen it. It's part of his era I haven't seen.
I remember one scene in particular. Somebody tries to pass like drugs to Abby through somebody else, and they bust them because they're wearing wingtips. Like, you're a fed. I'm not. Just throw it right in the trash.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Oh, that's a shame. Can we have a moment of silence, please? Even though
F in chat.
No. The point of my putting this up here
6 months
is that he died at age 80.
Yes, which is brilliant, isn't it?
That's substantially long. That's substantially longer than Che Guevara.
But it was the worst moment of his life, dude.
Oh yeah.
Think of the black people and gay people you saved.
Yeah.
I mean, because Lord Almighty, you talk about a racist, homophobic piece of shit.
Well, I mean, what is his rationale for it being the worst moment of his life?
That's probably
that could make him a way better person than Che would ever hope to be.
Well, this is true because he actually has feelings.
Yeah, he values human life. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Killing anyone is just terrible. You know. I mean, I've never. They have actually almost. They didn't do countdowns on it, but they were talking about, at this hour, so and so is being executed, because we had a couple high-profile, really rotten brothers who did some murdering, and one of their murders was horrifying. So when it came time for them to be put to death, there was coverage of it to some extent from outside the prison. You know, kind of like there was when Tim McVeigh was put to death.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, everyone in Oklahoma knew exactly when his heart stopped ticking.
Yeah. Oh God, somebody
Well,
ran.
that didn't.
Somebody ran by the TV cameras that Fox had set up with a sign that said "Bye bye, Timmy." And I laughed. So help me God, I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was so shocking.
Mhm.
But I also was still so angry about the senselessness of that.
Yep.
Do you know that there's a program, it's one of those it's kind of like Rosetta Stone for the brain, but it's changed. You know, it's not language, but it's one of those educational learning tools. They were doing something about engineering failures or things that have been learned from engineering failures. And the Murrah building, I think it was one more support column.
And it all would have came down.
No, it would not have come down at all.
Oh.
The facade would not have cascaded the way it did.
Mm.
What happened is the blast hit and there was too large a space between columns for kind of a beauty shot look to the building.
Mm.
And that's when that column went, the floors cascaded down with it. They're
So
not.
they think that would have helped if they'd had more support columns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've retconned it based on, you know, because the building failed in an interesting way. If you recall that kind of pyramidal slump that it did, where it created a right triangle almost out of the building. And you know, you break it down and engineers start looking at that and why did that give and why did that come down that way. And after all these years of looking at it and assessing it, they know how that can be prevented in the future. And they said, oddly enough, it, you know, it makes you feel a tiny bit better that the lives that were lost weren't entirely lost in vain, because people tackled the problem of ensuring that a building can't pass code like that again.
It's kind of a hell of a way to do research, though.
It's a terrible way to do it post-mortem.
But making the most of a bad situation and gathering, you know, it's like using the data that the Nazis came up with their hideous experiments. You know, in using that information to help other people, you're taking away some of the negation.
You're mitigating.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, does it?
Anyway, my point in keeping this on the screen, I did want to point out this picture of Che Guevara shows his widow's peak, and that was what I was thinking of at the time that I made the comment about the widow's peak. I didn't want you to think I'd slipped a gear. He had a very prominent widow's peak, which is really well shown in this photograph. So I just wanted
Hence the funny hats.
Hence the funny hats. He had a strange looking hairline, and he was a weird guy. I don't like him. I'm glad he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad he's dead. I hope that the world forgets him.
I'm just glad I can.
Forgets him.
I'm just glad I can grow a better beard than him.
But at any rate,
small pleasure.
I detect that we're running out of gas a little bit here, so if it's okay with everybody, I think we'll call it a night here. Is that all right?
Sure.
Anybody have anything else, burning things that they have on their mind, something they want to get out there, something they want to tell Elon? You might be watching. You might be one of the 7 people watching.
Well, no, I did link to a video from Twitter in the group chat. It's just showing like protesters in Iran. Apparently, some of them are flying American flags because the World Cup match.
Oh man,
God
those
bless 'em.
people define courage.
Mm-hmm.
And conversely, I've been seeing since I've been scrolling on Twitter a bunch of videos from China that are horrifying.
Yeah, it's
One claims to show a woman standing up outside of a hospital, outside of the hospital, giving birth because she didn't have a COVID test. She couldn't get into, while she was in labor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right.
it's great.
Well, I have something fun we can end on if you want.
Yes,
it's my
I would
favorite.
like that.
It's my all-time favorite Calvin and Hobbes. I used to have a copy of this posted in my office when I was starting out.
Okay. For show and tell, I bought a little toy airplane. It's sort of ordinary, I suppose, but I like to have it around. It reminds me that as soon as I save a little more money, I'll buy a ticket. But so much distance between you chumps and me, it will boggle your minds. It's not an attitude; it's a fact.
I love Calvin and Hobbes.
That's why I identify with Calvin and Hobbes so much. And
Yeah.
at different times, I identify with either character.
Yeah.
I'm both of them. Oh, it brings back the memories, Harry. Thank you.
Just something
It's a
fun
great
to end on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to call it a night, guys. Thank you for coming out and listening to us prattle on. It's great fun. Thank you to my panel, my friends here, hanging out with me. That's going to do it for us here tonight. And we'll do it again next Tuesday, of course, Saturday night. We have the Minions of the Zoo hosted by the Harry Channel. And look forward to seeing any and all of you then. But for tonight, toy boat, the zoo is closed.